Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and we're going to start a new project today. Now, this is inspired by Tracie Fox, and I will link her videos down below. I'm hoping that we can, sorry about the glare on this, I'm hoping we can get this one done in maybe a couple of videos. I'll do some things off camera when it's just repetition, but she did a tag journal not too long ago, and I absolutely fell in love with how she made it. So I'm going to do one, but I'm going to do mine a lot larger. So I said this is inspired. I'm not going to do mine exactly like her, but it is inspired by hers. I'm doing my tags larger. They're going to be almost the size of a regular journal, so you can put lots of different things in there. I think she did hers just a regular tag size. You know me, everything on my end has to be large. These are 5 inches by 9. So that's almost the size of a regular journal. Now, I am using scraps. This is a scrap piece of cardstock that I just cut down to 10 inches by 9 inches, I do believe. Let me make 100% sure. Yes, this is cut to 10 by 9, and then I just folded it in half at 5. That gives me my tag shape. These are the backs and fronts of paper pads. I save all of those and I use them either for tags or whatever. This is a very good thing. And then I have these left over that I can make tags out of, these pieces. So again, 10 by 9, and then I just cut my corners. Now on my little template, I did make a corner that's for these tags, nothing else. I just put on there large tag journal. So I can put that up on there and cut it, flip it over, put it on this side, cut it, and I've got all of my edges the same. Or you can just cut one and then put it up against the next ones and do it like that. Whichever way you want to do that. The open side is going to be where you attach it to your spine. So this is going to be the front, but make sure that you put it the right orientation because we're going to attach to the left. So keep the left open. So this one would go this way, and then this one this way. I've got these cut. Now this little piece is not quite as thick as some of the others, but it'll still work because we're going to cover all these with paper. Now you can cover it just with solid paper if you want, or you can collage it like Tracie did. I'm probably going to do some collaging. This is also something that you can use your scraps to make. Now, I'm not worrying right now if they're exactly the same size, all of them. I can cut all of that down when it's all said and done. Looks like I went a little crooked on this one down here at the bottom, but we'll fix all of that later. They can all be trimmed down to make them the same sizes. So I have got 6. I'm going to go ahead and cover mine, and then I'll cut my corners. I just cut that one so that you could see. So I'm going to go ahead and start covering them, and then we'll come back and cut the corners. Now, Tracie used a particular book to do her collaging with that she had in her stash. I think I'm going to use some Edith Holden books. I don't want to. I want to hoard these, but you guys have sent me a few of these and a few different papers, and I thought, why not use some Edith and quit hoarding everything? So that's what I'm going to do. Let's see. Now this one has a really pretty green sheet in the back. That's pretty. And then it has this sheet that's almost solid. So I'll probably use some of that. This one is the Edwardian Lady, the story of Edith Holden. And look at that. That's pretty. So all of these front pages will be really good. So I think I'm going to make mine an Edith Holden journal. So I'm going to start out with some of these that are just individual sheets that I have been given from you guys. Like I said, I did buy one of these Edith Holden books, but most of these have been given to me by you. And I want to hoard them. I don't want to use them, period. But I can't do that. So, let's see. Now, all we're going to do is cut down a few pieces. I will probably either speed this up or go off camera and do some of these pieces because it's going to be a lot of repetition. And you don't necessarily need to see me do the same thing over and over again. Also, Tracie did hers more in squares than she did tearing them. You can do it either way. If you'd rather tear yours and have the jagged edges, you can do that. I think I'm going to do the squares like she did. So I'm going to find some paper that will kind of go with this, tear it out, cut it out, and then we'll start putting a collage down. I'll collage this one, and then the others I'll collage off camera probably. Okay, I have a few pieces cut out here, enough to do this one sheet anyway. Now I'm going to open mine up like this. This is a spine right here. I am not going to go over the spine with the paper because sometimes, especially with this older paper, it just cracks. So just leave your spine like that. You can always cover it if you want to. This is the outside spine. So I am probably going to go with my 4 corners first. And I'm just going to lay some things down that I kind of like the looks of. And I'm thinking I like the looks of that side better, but I am going to cut it in 2. Don't want quite that big of a piece. I love the writing that she does on her pieces, her books, or that she did, I should say. So I think that's going to be the start of it. And I'm going to put larger pieces on my collage because you do not have to put small pieces on there. If you put larger pieces down with a big piece like this, it's just going to look that much better, I think. And it's going to come together quicker. So if you start out with tiny pieces, you're going to get frustrated, or I do. So I start out with larger ones. You can always go back and fill in something, or if you wanted something on here, you could go back and put a label or something on there. We'll probably do that on a few of these. I'm going to cut out some words from the book, like here. I've got some different nice words. I'll cut those out and put them in different places. And I am using my art glitter glue because I don't really want to use a glue stick right now because this book is so old. If I get glue on my hands, then try to press this down and it sticks to my hands, this book is going to tear all to pieces because it's very, very old. So I am just going to put it down with my art glitter glue because it's thick enough, the paper's thick enough that it's not going to hurt anything, not going to show through. Now, when you're doing your corners at the top, keep in mind that you're going to cut off a piece of this. That's why I decided to go here with the bird, because even after I cut that angle, I'll still have my bird there. This one, once I cut that angle, I'm still going to have all of that flower there. So keep that in mind at the top. You don't have to worry so much about the bottom, but at the top where you're going to cut your little angles, need to keep that in mind. Let's see. That's got a lot of... I think I'll turn it over and we'll go this route. Because that had a lot of just cream at the top, which we could have covered, but I'll just flip it over and do the writing on there. And I will be stitching around all of my tags, but if you're not going to stitch around all of them, just make sure that you get these edges glued down really well. All right, we need something here. Now, don't think that we can just have to stick directly with Edith Holden. You do not. You can do other books or other pieces in here. Don't think you've got to stick with just one thing, because you don't. See, I'm thinking about, this is the backing for one of her books. And I'm thinking about putting that right there. As a matter of fact, it fits perfect. What do we think? I think I'll use it. It fits fine. I can always come back and put a label on top of it if I think it's too plain. But use some plain paper or coffee dyed paper, something like that, in with your collaging. That makes your papers go a long way, plus it makes it look better, I think. Okay, I'm going to grab my glue mat, my big one, because I'm getting glue everywhere. Because you know how heavy my hand is when it comes to gluing. So we're going to put our old trusty, now this is an old one. Yours that you purchase will not look like this, believe me. But I get a lot of glue. I am a heavy hand gluer. So we're going to go this route. Now we can start filling in some different areas. And I'm not real sure about this side of this paper. It's a little bit wild for me, but we may use just tiny pieces of it here and there. Like I could put just a small piece there, because it is part of the Edith Holden book. So we'll just do that. Let me cut this one down. We'll just use a small piece. And I'm going to go right over the top of this cream there. Not cover it all up, but just go over the top of it. Make sure that your edges don't come straight together. Like I wouldn't want to put this one down like that. Make sure your edges are offset. That makes it more pleasing to the eye. Okay, now that we put a little tiny piece on the back, let's just go ahead and put a little piece on the front. I don't want to cover my numbers up there, so I think I might just do, let's see, let's just put that little piece about like that. We can fill in there with something else. Just want a tiny piece. There we go. So I hope you guys will stick with me through this series. I'm going to call this a series because we may do a couple in different sizes. We may do, and we might even do one in not collage, just put down paper. But I'm going to do a few, I think. I just kind of, I don't know, I fell in love with the way Tracie was doing it. And I thought, why not? Why not just make one of those? It looked good. See, I love that flower right there on that front cover of that. I shouldn't have covered it, should I? But you gotta let it go sometime or other. And see, I'm not wanting to cover anything here, so let's just put maybe a piece like that. I'll tell you now, I think I'll go with a little bit of coffee dyed paper. And I'm just going to grab out some scraps. If you're like me, you have plenty of scraps of coffee dyed paper. Yeah, I think I want that there. I'm just going to mark where I need to cut that with a little pencil. Somebody asked me what tool this was. This is just a pencil. It's just one of those little pencils that you can get at Walmart. I think that's what they was asking about anyway. They asked me what was that tool that I marked my sheet with to cut, and that's the only thing that I know that I mark it with, other than my thumbnail. Let's see. Now on that one, I came to the exact place right here, but I'm going to put a label right up through there. So that will offset that, because I cut this piece the exact width of this one, but I'm going to put a label here that will offset that. Now I think down here we'll come back in with the bird's nest. It'll be like he's looking for his nest. So I'm going to trim that off a little bit. And I'll save that and I'll use it in the collage, in one of my collages. Let's see, let's cut that right there and see if that works. Yeah, I like that. And see, we've covered up the end of this, which is fine. That is okay. And then we've got some odd corners here, which is good because we can put little labels around on those. Now, the birdie is looking for his bird's nest, and it's right there. Okay. Now, I like to alternate and go back to the back and see what I've got. Now, make sure that you run some wording the opposite direction. So here we will run some of this like that. And I'm going to go ahead and just cut this little edge off here. Run some wording sideways. Don't run it all straight across. Run some of it backwards. It just makes it a lot more interesting, I think. Now, this is my opinion. All right. Now let's go ahead and do a little piece of paper here. I think I've got a little one under here even that's smaller. Okay, I don't mind that, like that. I'm covering up part of this, which is fine, and then going to the edge on those other two pieces. I just don't want this to be so bold. And then I'm making sure that I'm getting all of my edges offset. I don't want this edge straight with that edge, so it's a little bit higher. Get mine. That works. Have a pencil mark on there. Erase that off. All right. Then we need some sideways words right there, I do believe. Let's see what we've got. Or maybe upside down ones. Okay, that piece works really well there, so let's go with that. I think I am going to trim just a little bit of that solid off of there. And then we'll put this one like this. And that's going to make all of our little edges offset, so we don't have straight edges going on. Oops. Oops, I was going to put it sideways, wasn't I? And I'm going right up to the fold in that, but not over it. Okay. Now, I do need a little piece of green back here somewhere, so let's go ahead and pull that in. And that looks fine with me right there. Let's go ahead and do some strips of this bolder writing. This is a little bit bolder because it was like the table of contents. I think we might go there with that, but I need to move that one over if I can. It looks a little crooked. Maybe like that, and then I'll just cut that excess off. Okay, I like that little piece down there. We'll just need to fill in a tiny little bit. That way I don't waste any of this. Let's see, I ran that way last time, so let's run it this way. Just make sure I'm not going over my spine. Well, I call that the spine, but you know what I mean. It is the spine right now. So we've got a tiny little gap right there, and then a piece that we need there. I'm going to go ahead and just put this little piece down here, just to keep from wasting it. think I might take this over the top there, and it'll just offset all of those edges again. That looks good. And I'm not covering anything up except just little pieces here and there, so that works. Now, like I said, if this is not your cup of tea and you don't like to collage and you had rather just put some paper down on top of it, that is fine. Just do that. Just use a solid piece of paper and cover it. I wanted to do this. Okay, got that done. We just need a little piece right here for the back, and that will be finished. And let's see if I have a scrap that just fills in that little spot. Yep, we do. That piece right there. And if you don't have an Edith Holden book or a different magazine or something that you would want to use, I think Tracie and them they didn't use Edith Holden, they used some other book. You can use a magazine, a book, anything that you have in your stash, a newspaper, whatever you have. All right, we need a little piece right here, and thinking I like that number on there, so I'm thinking about going with that right there. Yeah, that'll work. So it's got an 8 on it, so you know I have to use that. Okay. All right, so there's our first collage. Like I said, we have a little bit here, but I'm going to put lace on the edges anyway, probably, so that's not going to bother me. And then I will definitely trim this up as I need to, if I need to. But that's our front cover. I like that. Now, like I said, I am going to put some labels and things on here. And what I'm going to do is I'll use some of my regular labels, but then I'm also going to cut out pieces from the book and use those. That's kind of what Tracie did. She cut out different pieces from her book that she was using, and she used those words to put down. And I thought that was a really good idea. So I'm just cutting out some of the words right now. Okay. Now I love the word Edwardian, so we've got to include that on there, and I think it would go good right there. So we're just going to cut the end off, and then I'll save those ends because those will definitely be used. So I can put that right there. I like that. Now, on these words, I think I'm going to ink a little bit around them. I didn't want to ink all of these pieces, but I think the words I will, because it'll just help them to show a little bit better. And I may not have all of mine cut exactly right, but that's okay. That's all right. Isn't that pretty? See, I love that. And let's see. I had the word lady right here somewhere.
Here.
Just using a little bit of vintage photo on these. And I think I'm going to put lady right there. Okay, maybe you can see that. And then I want more labels, I know. Don't want just those. Let's put diary. Edwardian Lady Diary. Okay, let's see. I think right up through here is going to be maybe our best bet for that. Oops, I can't get it straight. There we go. Okay, there's Edwardian Lady Diary. And then I'm going to stamp a few numbers and things on here too, but I'm going to wait on that. I'm going to go ahead and put some words on this side. And I think I'll use that whole word there. And it just says the country. I'm going to cut it a little bit straighter than it is. Now it feels like I got this green a little bit off when I cut it, so I'm going to put this label down, and then I'm going to try my best to put that label down straight, even though the green is not, and that should make it look even straight. That should make it look straight, even though I didn't get it exactly straight. So see, that straightened it out a lot. Let's see, what other words do we have over here? Oh, we've got to put this, the year, 1906. Yeah, 1906. We got to put that on there. And I think that should go right there. There's a lot of solid there, so I think I'm going to put that 1906 there. Or I may put it on the front now that I'm thinking about it. Let's see, I'm going to cut that off, so let's put it right there. I really want that to be on the front of the journal and not the back. So I'm going to put that there, and then we'll find something else to put back here. This lady had a wonderful name, Edith. Oh man, I didn't know anybody else in the world was named Edith. When I was little, I thought my mother hated me and she named me the worst name in the world. Because, you know, none of my friends or anybody that I knew had the name Edith. It's an old English name, I think, but anyways, I grew up to learn that there were lots of people, lots of ladies who had the name Edith. Okay, there's, put Edith Holden on there. Oh, I love that. Now, like I said, I'm going to be doing lots more to the front, but that's going to be right now what I have done, and then I'm going to trim these edges. Just looking to make sure. Okay, so that is that one. This one. This is going to be cool. I love it. Now, I'm going to ink mine and then I'm going to stitch. But, you know, that's up to you. Whatever you want to do with yours. Some people don't like the inking. Some people do like the inking. So, I always say to each his own. If you don't want to watch me ink, I usually cut that part out anyway. Okay, I'm really liking that. That will be the front cover of our journal. Now, we'll probably do other things here. This will be the inside page, and we may do some other things here too, but I think that's all I'm going to do to these pages right now. I'm going to go ahead and cover my other 6 basically the same way, doing almost the same thing as I did here. And then we'll come back and I'll show you the other things that I'm going to do. I'm going to put some pockets in. I'm going to put layered tags in. some little tabs that we'll do some charms hanging off of, all of that. But I wanted to show you how to get started on yours first. So I want you guys to get started. Drag out a bunch of those pieces of chipboard. You can use cereal boxes, anything like that that you have. Just don't get it too thick. But this is, you know, this is like the thickness of the backer part of your paper pads. So drag all of that out, cut out some pieces. You can cut yours any size that you want. Mine are cut at 10 by 9 because I'm going to make a larger tag journal. And then come back tomorrow and I'll show you how we start putting everything together. Okay. All right, guys, that is it for this video. I didn't want it to be too long because I want you guys to have time to make your own and catch up to where we are, and then we're going to start working together. We will talk to you guys later. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you will. We would appreciate it, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.